morning, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Heins Explains. Today, we're going to talk about periods and other end punctuation marks. So, this one's going to be pretty straightforward. You probably know most of these, but I'm going to just make sure that you know. We're going to review every part of this, okay? So, there are two slides to this. Go ahead and make sure that these are either in your notebook or in Notability. So we're going to start with our first end punctuation mark, which you've probably seen before. We use periods, and we use them at the end of all declarative sentences when you're just saying, hey, I enjoy ice cream, just stating a fact. We're also going to use them at the end of most imperative sentences. So these are the ones that give commands. And we also use them in what are known as indirect questions. And indirect questions, as I'll show you below, is when we talk about the question, but we don't actually ask a question. So, for instance, example, Japan is a country of islands. Boom, period. This is a declarative sentence. We're just saying, hey, look, this is a thing about Japan. Number two, tell me about the history of Japan. We're telling you to do something, therefore this is an imperative sentence. But we're not really yelling or shouting by any means, so we're just saying, hey, do this thing. And this third one is what we call that indirect question. So it's John asked about how Japanese culture works. We're not just saying, hey, how does Japanese culture work? We're saying he did this thing where he indirectly speaks a question. Okay? And that's what we call about indirect questions. We also, in addition to using them after those sentence types, we use periods after abbreviations, initials, or after each number in an outline or list. So if I were to create an outline, I'd put number 1 dot, number 2 dot, Mr. period Heins, Booker T period Washington. Okay? So that's where we use periods. Now, we have a very straightforward one. We use question marks at the end. Let's clarify this a little bit. Not just a question, but since we had indirect questions above, we are going to use the direct questions. Okay? So at the end of a direct question, we use a question mark. Where is Japan located? This one is we're specifically asking about the thing, not just saying like, hey, John asked where Japan was located. So now this is a direct question. We're directly asking a thing. And then last but not least, we are going to use exclamation marks to end an exclamatory sentence. Or the other way is to end a strong interjection. And I'll show you what I mean down below. Oops, excuse me. Strong interjection. So what we mean by interjections is when we say like, wow, or holy cow, those really short phrases that are usually really like we yell them out or exclaim them, or we're surprised or we're scared. Those are the words. So wow, or oh, dang, things like that. And then our exclamatory sentence, making exclamation, what a beautiful country. Okay? All right. Underneath, there is a punctuation activity where I'd like you to add the correct punctuation. There are 6 questions. Make sure that the periods and the question marks and the exclamation points get to the right spot. And then submit those for a check.